wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special ToB Film Club. As always, I'm Julian Meush. I'm joined by Jeremy Kozier.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about Mad Max Fury Road, as promised. But what makes this so special? Well, we're going to be doing two movies today. We're going to be doing Mad Max Fury Road, of course, but also its prequel movie, Saga, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. For the purposes of this podcast, though, we'll just be calling it Furiosa because the kind of shoehorned in subtitle just doesn't really roll off the tongue, as all my failed intros prove. So that's the plan for today. A couple other things that making this special. One is that we're recording this live on Twitch and YouTube. So if you are not subscribed to us on either of those platforms, please go ahead and do that. That way, when we do go live, you'll get notified and you can join us in the chat room and hang out and get the full live experience, which is always a lot of fun. Also, our film clubs are typically A, not recorded live, but also B, exclusive to our patrons. So that will be slightly true for this. It'll be exclusive to our patrons for a time-limited period. It'll go wide to a wider audience at the end of the week or closer to the middle of next week. So stay tuned for that. If you're listening live, you know that if this is hitting your feed now, welcome. Okay, let's get into this. We've got lots to cover. Jeremy and I went to see Furiosa on opening night, Thursday evening, here in Winnipeg at the Ultra AVX format, which is the Cineplex version of their, high-end format. So Dolby audio, laser projection. It's great. We also have an LIMAX screen here. We chose not to go see it there. They don't have the reclining seats, so it is what it is. Although, Jeremy, can you believe this? Listen to this.
What's that?
There was a post on Twitter today, or X, whatever, about like, hey, why aren't people going to the movies? Because there's a lot of hullabaloo around box office numbers, and we'll talk about that maybe at the end of the episode. We're going to cover the movies here, not so much the business today, though we do often have time for the business of movie making. Anyway, someone was complaining on this thread about like, hey, why are people going to movies? One person said, oh, well, you know what? The recliners are the problem. There's too many recliners now, which I thought was maybe the wildest, boldest. It's true that on Twitter, people will just say anything. But do you think that has anything to do with it, that people are staying away from movie theaters because the seats are too comfortable?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. I'm just checking. Because they just replaced all the seats in those AVX theaters we were just talking about with the recliners. And it does, you know what? It makes a difference. It's nice to put your feet up,
Yeah, you definitely feel a little bit more separated from like people behind you and in front of you.
Yes.
I guess. Because you're on your own floor kind of. So you just have the people beside you.
Do you think it takes away from the like theatrical experience and like the communal experience? Does it feel less like you're part
Yeah,
of
I would say slightly. Like if you're like if you just picture a theater with like the old school seats, you're kind of just all huddled together in the mix. Like sometimes you could even see like rows of basically backs of heads if you're higher up,
right?
And then the screen right there. So I don't know. I don't think it's a major difference, but I guess it is kind of like separating you in the environment that you're all in a little bit more. But for the sake of comfortability.
Well, I mean, I think there's a clear reason why these theaters have gone. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people want to go to the movies. We're not getting into that right now. We've talked about that endlessly on the main show.
Well, yeah, you're taking away seats that aren't being sold anyways, and then you're making those seats more accessible.
Well, and more expensive, realistically.
But right? Then the notion was when in our city, when we first got it, in our small circles, like, it was like, yeah, I'm only going to Landmark because it's just so comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that's and to be honest, Landmark's not cheap either, right? I mean, those premium formats have gotten upwards of, I think for the 2 tickets that we went to see Furiosa, it was $35. So, my take is that I think if movies,
but then I snuck in all my concessions and
yes, which is the smart move because it's another $20 if you want popcorn and a drink.
Like I remember they would like if you had like a bag, like you would be like escorted out or something. Like you couldn't like really at one point like it just like you couldn't really get things by these people.
I think what it is that the kids working at those places just do not care.
Well, yeah, now it's just like young like children basically working the ticket booths or whatever.
Yeah,
the popcorn.
Well, I mean, it's always been, I think, young kids, but more so than ever, it's just kind of like, what incentive do they have to like really care? You know, I don't blame them personally. You know, that's not an easy job. And I only ever complained to their managers, never to them personally, which is, because again, they're just filling popcorns or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, the plan, Mad Max Fury Road, and then Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. And I don't know how much we'll spend on Mad Max, although that was promised as the main episode. There's just so much to talk about with Furiosa. So let's dive into it. Let's set the stage a little bit here, Jeremy. So Mad Max Fury Road comes out in 2015.
Wild.
Right? It's been a long time.
Next year will be 10 years.
Do you think that's too long for a sequel / prequel or follow up?
Yeah, of course it is. But in the tumultuous climate that is the film industry,
it is what it is.
It's just tough to get projects going. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to get into it. I guess we're doing Mad Max, but I mean, like this movie was so huge back then. Like you would think that another jump back into the universe would entice people to go see it, but I think the box office even for this one was pretty modest. Like
it wasn't crazy, but I think it at least broke even, if I recall. I mean, it wasn't a cheap movie to make, right? It was in George Miller's head for like 30 years, right? He's had an idea to make this movie forever. It's the concept of like a one giant chase movie. And so, I think part of this conversation is contrasting Mad Max Fury Road with Furiosa, which are the most two modern Mad Max films that are obviously, again, directly connected, but on just an aesthetic perspective and all the movie making elements that go into that, they're the most similar, right? You can compare, Mad Max, the original is like an indie movie, and then you have 2 and 3, which are more similar in scope. And then you have Fury Road, which is like a whole other, blows it up even further. Then I think, in my opinion, Furiosa takes that even one step further and makes it even bigger, but similar enough. And I guess for me, Fury Road's a great movie. I think both of us, Jeremy, both recently purchased the 4K Blu-ray. Is it called a 4K Blu-ray or is it just called a 4K? How like what's the right nomenclature for that? Okay, because the Blu-ray's 1080p, right?
Yeah,
but a 4, yeah. All right. Well, and the disc, like the case isn't blue, right? Which is what was the case for Blu-rays.
Well, yeah, but most of the time it comes with the Blu-ray, so maybe that's why it says Blu-ray at the end.
Yeah, it's true. It does. Usually, this Blu-ray also has that. It's where all the special features are.
Yeah, because at one point it was. After DVDs, they were still in the Blu-ray, like the regular Blu-ray cases.
Right, you'd get both.
A long time. And digital, too.
Yeah. Anyway, so we watched, we both got it on 4K for good reason. It's one of those movies where you have to, I think, see it in the best possible way you can. But I think, Jeremy, what was the takeaway after we watched it again recently, which was that it's just not the same when you're not in the theater, right?
Right. So I guess our recency bias could lend towards our shared feeling of where it all kind of lands.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what we just saw with Furiosa is an example of what we saw with Mad Max, which is this epic theatrical experience, really big sound, right? Nonstop action, and again, if you're criticizing Fury Road, I think that it's kind of around the very loose plotting, right? And minimal character work, little dialogue, right? We were giving who is it, Denis Villeneuve, a hard time about his comments about movies. He doesn't give a shit about dialogue, right? We don't remember dialogue. We remember moments. I don't necessarily agree with that because I think Luke, I am your father, is the dialogue there is kind of what makes that, not necessarily the visuals, though that's part of it. But George Miller takes us to the next step, right? With Fury Road specifically, there's like, Mad Max, the character, Tom Hardy, barely says anything in the movie, right? It starts in, essentially in media res, like immediately you're in a chase, and it doesn't really let up until the very, very, very final moment of the movie. It's just nonstop the entire time, right? People give it a hard time. It's like, oh, it's just the U-turn the movie or whatever, which I think is, a little unfair because, sure, yeah, it goes back to where he started, but that's not really the point. They have a lot of new information when they turn around, and it happens a lot faster than the reverse anyway. Jeremy, what's your overall thoughts on Fury Road? I guess now with, again, you said the recency bias of Furiosa, but looking back at it, where are you with it now?
Yeah, recency bias aside, it's an incredible film. It was so refreshing at the time. It was just a return to form, like all those things. It was just such a surprise too. Even though all the elements going into it, like obviously was like, this is going to be something cool, but I think it turned out to be something quite special. And then to fast forward to Furiosa, that proof of concept is just kind of doubled down. But then we have the added value of kind of focusing on one character in particular, while introducing like another fun one essentially, and then some side ones to bounce off around between the both of them. I guess maybe felt for more of a compelling kind of narrative.
Sure.
But Fury Road is just such a just masterclass in nonstop action essentially. But there's a couple breaks here and there. I think it's it has its three parts.
Yeah.
So the first part is wildly entertaining. Is peak cinema.
You think before the chase begin, like the road chase begins, you could say the beginning part, or
I would say
the
like
first part of that chase,
the part until Mad Max gets his the thing cut off basically.
Right. When we find out what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
Like all the way up to that point, it's like this is the craziest thing we've ever seen, essentially.
Right.
And then it's just cool to see those characters kind of work together in the second part and deal with the different type of road battle, and then the ending, I guess, obviously, which is them working together even more, plus all the crazy parts around it. But I actually didn't finish my viewing of Mad Max. I kind of went about halfway, and I was.
You're like, I've seen enough.
Just with what was going on, like it just wasn't a fair shot towards it, fully. But I was reminded and just wowed again at the amazing visuals, action, camera work, music, sound, the pacing, the aesthetic of the world, the colors, and then fast forward.
I dig the orange hue, like the level of orange. There's a lot of orange, but I think we've seen kind of color graded movies like this before. I just feel like this one pulls it off in a much more interesting way. Especially when you get to the night scenes, when then they're like really blue and contrasting in a different way. Yeah.
Good change. But really the sound, and then just the use of space. Like there's a lot of shots where it's like silent, or like a car drives away into the distance, and then you just hear like a roaring like tire and engine, like vehicle just coming right by the camera and then like following in pursuit. And then just to flash forward to Furiosa, that sense is just kind of doubled down in its beginning, like chasing, but kind of slowed down a little bit. And that like just really cemented like this world and the concept, and how it so smartly like conveys to the viewer like all the rules of engagement, and then some you wouldn't expect, and it all just boils down to like survival, which is really cool. So and that's all it goes to say that Furiosa makes Mad Max Fury Road even better. Because like there's like basically you if you're gonna watch these movies, it would be the prequel then Mad Max.
I think
I
so. I
think.
mean, like this, spoilers for Furiosa. Just don't watch the. If you've never seen Fury Road, just don't watch the credits for Furiosa because it does basically do like a mini recap of what happens in Fury Road during the credits. So I just avoid that if you want that kind of like what's the unsullied experience, right? If you go see Furiosa and you're like, wow, this is amazing, I want to see more. Go see the quote unquote sequel in Fury Road, but just don't watch the credits. That's my one small tip for that. I don't, I'm not really sure what the purpose of including that is when theoretically, when this becomes like, once this leaves theaters, the best case scenario would be that you put them on back to back and really get that full, complete experience. You don't really need the movie in the credits for Furious. I don't know.
It's also wild that these movies are basically 10 years apart.
Well, what do you think that the 10 years provides Furiosa that it didn't provide Fury Road or vice versa?
I don't know. I think it's a little too early or hard to distinguish, but and if that's the case, then it lends, you know, just a lot of props towards Fury Road for being able to kind of consistently hold up with what we just saw, which was like just so slick and cohesive, and you know what I mean, like the sense of immersion and the like attachment you have to that is like it's so perfectly like captures you and doesn't like allow you to wander to question certain things that are going on. So for me, that's just pure escapism.
Yeah, I don't know. My feeling on both of these. I mean, for one thing, we know I guess we know two things, right? We know that he had the idea to do Fury Road for a long time. It almost started production twice, and then we figured it out on the third try. And same thing for Furiosa, where he had it in his brain for a long time, and I guess maybe needed Mad Max Fury Road to. I said a Fury Road again. I gotta stop doing that. He needed Fury Road to be somewhat of a success to be able to, convince a studio. Despite, by the way, suing Warner Brothers. I watched a YouTube video about this the other day. He sued Warner Brothers because he was owed, I guess, royalties for Fury Road that he wasn't being paid, and they weren't paying him. I don't know. It's all movie, accounting bullshit. But he went back to Warner Brothers, pitched them on Furiosa, and despite not being maybe a box office massive success, it was hardly a bomb, right? And it was enough to convince him to do the second one. Will there be a third based off of this? I don't know. Maybe he'll have to finance it himself like he did the original movie. Probably a lot harder to do that. But I guess I kind of lost the train of thought there. But my thinking is that the concept around what Fury Road is much simpler, right? The chase movie, and it works because it's as people said, the best action movie of the last decade or whatever, and that's probably true. What makes Furiosa work is that it is more of a traditional movie and a traditional narrative, slightly structured more like a traditional movie, with the chapter breaks and those kinds of things, which we see in larger movies. But I just feel like you couldn't make Furiosa until you made Fury Road. Does that make sense? Like it had to be a prequel. I don't know if you could make Furiosa first and then Fury Road. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there's no way that that's one of the great question marks, I guess, of time travel. Like, if you could go back and you could show Furiosa first to everybody, would it be as big of a success, or would it have garnered an Oscar nomination? By the way, I believe, at least Furiosa should get an Oscar nom, in my opinion. If Fury Road did, there's no reason that Furiosa shouldn't. But we'll put a pin in that. We'll get to that a little bit more. Do you have any nitpicks with Fury Road? What doesn't work for you?
Well, like I said, it's not super fair of me because I didn't really watch it all in its entirety, but I just felt it was getting a little too long. And
What's
that's
the runtime
basically
on
it.
this? It's 2 hours exactly, basically.
But then, like, after watching Furiosa, it's like, yeah, I want to just go back and just kind of like, through the lens of, the prequel,
Mm-hmm.
and see how that kind of ties into who Furiosa is in Mad Max. Because this movie, the Furiosa, just gets you so excited about like what's next, even though this what's next, this one was or Furiosa was a step back. So that's what's kind of unfortunate about this whole Mad Max like kind of world. If they want to keep going, is that we had to take one step back, and then where do we go forward?
Well,
Um,
there's a Mad Max 4 or 5, I guess, that they announced at one point, which was the Mad Max The Wasteland or whatever I think it's called. And I don't know what the state of that is at this point. Or maybe it'll depend on how Furiosa does. There's, we said we wouldn't talk too much about the box office, but because we're recording this on Saturday, the Memorial Day long weekend is hardly even fresh, right? So there's still lots of time for this movie to make money on its opening weekend. Early signs aren't great. So, working under that assumption just for a moment, that if Furiosa is a flop, a box office flop anyway, does that spell out that this is the end of the Mad Max movies because they're just so expensive and hard to make?
but
Personally, I hope not.
we're here to say that that's basically a travesty, and that sucks because
Yes, thank
we
you.
got Fury Road, which we're not even really giving its fair shake as a review, I guess, part of this surprise, very special episode where we're just going to talk about
Yes,
Furiosa.
it's very special. Yeah, thank
but,
you.
it's just so unfortunate. This is such an escapist dream world to go into a theater and just kind of soak it all in. And we got Magic in 2015 with Fury Road, which just still dominated film conversations year after year,
right?
Or in comparisons, what have you, and just that hype for what's next, and then maybe a slight decline in the hype, knowing that it is a prequel, but like seeing the choices in the actors, George Miller obviously coming back and doing it. Our expectations were somewhat timid, but then we were essentially blown away, like saying like this is why we go to the movies, like
yeah.
We can compare the two all we want. They're sequels, prequels. They're one,
they're
two,
one
0,
big
and 1.
story,
It's all
basically,
100%.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see another actress's take, and just kind of embody that character in a younger era, which Charlize wouldn't be able to do. Like, this is a literal impossibility.
One of the things that George Miller said was that he had originally wanted Charlize to do it, but didn't feel like the de-aging technology was there enough.
So it would be another, it'd be another, Luke Skywalker de-aging, Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. Like, it's too much mixed with AI and all these types of things. Like, it's not. I don't know. It'd have to be like 100% like believable. Like,
we're close. I think we're close. I think maybe in the next 5 years you could probably do a whole movie and you wouldn't even blink an eye. I mean, right. I think one of the things that Alita, for instance, which is obviously a not a de-aged performance, but where there is CG on an actor's face for the length of an entire movie, that one works, but it's mostly because it's not trying to replicate a human face, right? So
in the case, anime influences
exactly, it's like giant eyes and all that kind of stuff, and it all looks good, but your brain isn't being like, oh well, something looks off because this isn't what a human looks like, because we know that that's not a human. So, and maybe there's more to it, but that's my kind of first blush kind of look at that. But for Mad Max, I think so much of, because we just talked about, like, so much of the performances are done without dialogue, almost most of these, both these movies, neither of them have a lot of dialogue. Furiosa more so, but you just need the actors to be able to emote clearly with their face. And as an audience member who's like latching on to that as like the only emotional hook into that character, there can't be any gaps. And you know, you got to respect George Miller for basically saying, well, I need that to be that way, so we're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Like, it's so crazy, his filmography. Like, literally did like Happy Feet. Well, I guess he was a producer on those ones, but like,
no, he directed those.
Oh, he did. Yeah, okay, so he did direct them.
Happy Feet.
Yeah, just
no,
a
right.
wild.
Producer, but I think he directed them too. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, just a wild kind of career. Like Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet 2. Yeah.
By the way, do you think if they made a third Babe, could you call it Babes, Pigs in the City?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, just checking.
Either way, this one just really kind of solidifies like this man's cinematic language is all time great.
Well, we were talking about this after the movie, but like where does he rank in terms of the goats? Right?
He's right up there. He's got
right up there. Has to be right.
Why? Like we were. Yeah, no, we were completely thrilled this entire journey of a movie, and it's more of the same. You know what I mean? Which I guess maybe some people are seeing that, you know, ahead of time. And we kind of like knew that too, but like, let's see what you got. But then again, like we just said, it's just all one big story. So
that to me, that's like complaining about that, like, oh, Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, just more the same of the Fellowship of the Ring. It's like, what? No, that's not.
Well, that one we had three books trilogy, that were all like, it was a trilogy where we got Fury Road, which blew up, and then it took a long time, and he said we're just going to do a prequel. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, like what a sequel, what a story driven sequel to the story of. Like, but this one is though, so it's just like, I mean. It's not your typical way to go about things, but prequels do exist, but they're always like later, and it's always feels cheapened, like no matter what. I think
there's an element of like, oh well, I think, and I saw some of this on Twitter today too. It's like, well, the stakes just aren't there, and it's like we talked about this also after the movie, which is like I just never felt that throughout all of Furiosa that there was no stakes. Yeah, sure, we knew that Furiosa wasn't going to die. But ultimately, you know, Morton Joe wasn't going to die. But there are so many other things that could happen, and emotional stakes, like what, you know, why she is the way that she is. You want to know those things, and you get to see these amazing moments. Like, I guess, you know, full spoilers for Furiosa at this point.
Is that how we actually do this?
Well, I guess, well, you know, it is pretty, because it is a Saturday. I guess we can kind of talk about this a little bit more. So. Without getting into the spoilers so far, but I would say that there's moments from Mad Max, things that we know, right? She's missing an arm, right? That's not a spoiler. How that happens, I'm not going to tell you right now, but how that happens is not like it's not rote or cliche. It's exciting, right? And finding out how and when is a part of the journey of Furiosa the movie, right? I'm not like going to see it because I want to know when she lost her arm, but once you're in it, you're kind of like, okay, well, when's it going to happen? And, you know, I'm not to say that those are the only stakes. They do a good job of introducing other characters that Furiosa has emotional connections with that are able to drive stakes as well. And again, without getting into the spoilers of that, maybe in a little bit. So I just don't. Let me just back it up a little bit, Jeremy. Just say I've seen a lot of like people questioning why the movie's not performing so well. I think it's a little too early for that, but also B, you know, like, who asked for this? Oh, you know, here's another, you know, female-led action movie. No one wants to see those. Yada yada yada. I just have no time for any of those criticisms because having seen the movie, and I would encourage people who are reluctant, even though they liked Fury Road, and then it makes no sense to not go see this movie, in my opinion, that it blows all of those critiques out of the water. They're not even, or it doesn't have stakes. It's the prequel problems, all that stuff. It does, like, it's just not true here. And I'm
So
not.
basically, we're
smoke.
done with talking about Mad Max Fury Road, is what you're saying.
I think it'll come back. I think it'll come back as we talk about this, because
Right.
as we talk about, they're kind of one big story at this point,
Mhm.
right? I will ask you this though before we like fully move over to Furiosa. You talked like would a story driven sequel to Fury Road have been something that would have been a bigger success or more of a draw? I'm less inclined to believe that, because I don't think Tom Hardy's Mad Max, as played by Tom Hardy, as opposed to as played by what's his name, Mel Gibson, is that compelling of a character, right?
Mm.
So, and and this is apparently, and I haven't seen a lot of the earlier movies, and my understanding is that Mad Max as a character is generally not always the main draw, like the main lead, even though they're the kind of titular character. That story doesn't necessarily revolve around them. He's just kind of involved, which is definitely true for Fury Road. I just don't think Mad Max as a character is specifically this iteration of him by Tom Hardy is that interesting. Furiosa is a way more interesting character in both movies, in my opinion, and I don't think it's even close. So I don't know, if you just hate watching women leads, then you're not going to like it. But
I would agree with your assessment there. But if you were to tell me, okay, George Miller, Mad Max 2, let's just call it that, like, or
Sure.
Fury Road 2, Tom Hardy's back, Charlize is back, like that just seems so much more epic and like grander to me as a concept, like moving forward. And then the concept of the prequel isn't those words to me, even though when we went and saw it and we came out of that, we were completely blown away. Like, this is it. Go see this. This is what it's all about. It was making us question Mad Max, the Fury Road, a little bit in terms of like, does it hold up to this one?
Right.
But also, I'm aware of the conversation, like, or of pre-Furiosa, of how epic Mad Max Fury Road is and still, or was and still is.
Yeah.
So I could totally agree with people who, recency bias aside, or if they like Fury Road more, like I wouldn't like necessarily disagree. But as it stands right now, I'm just so compelled by Furiosa and just everything going on with it. I would like to see more. That's just where I'm at right now. And we just watched Mad Max Fury Road, and it was fantastic, but obviously would have been better in a theater environment, which we did have at one point. But like you said, the story elements, the character stuff is a little flatter there, even though Furiosa is a cooler character. We get more of her here. I just love everything about it. I mean, it sucks that the box office is probably not gonna grant something.
Yeah,
more.
I just think there's more to the box office story that we can't really. It's hard to judge this movie off of 2 days, performance of its, whatever its length of its theatrical
well
run.
Just records just show themselves, right? Like, hey, Memorial Day weekend, we have the records for box office movie debuts. This one, they have the projection already, so we don't know what we're talking about. They know what they're talking about. If it is that record,
that's true.
It will have the lowest memorial record in decades, whatever. We're just saying, who knows what that stat even means moving forward. And that's true, because word of mouth hopefully helps out here. But then you're starting with a smaller group of people to spread that word of mouth. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just an astonishing feat of a movie.
and so like I think it's just ultimately we're in a post-COVID era, right, for movie for box office that no one seemed to be able to figure out yet, right? So I'm not going to try to sit here and explain how or why people don't want to go to movies now. Did streaming, condition everybody so that they don't want to watch movies in the theaters anymore? They just want to wait till it comes to home, VOD or whatever, including a movie that I just saw, The Fall Guy, which had a 2-week theatrical run, but it's already available on premium VOD. So, I don't know. This is the short answer. I'm not going to try to solve that problem. I will say that trying to judge, Furiosa's performance against Mad Max Fury Road is tough because they come from these two different eras at this point, essentially. Despite the movies being so similar, both by, from a visual perspective and from a tonal perspective, and they're literally connected. It's really hard to say, oh, well, this must be because people. I think it's really hard to draw conclusions about why it worked or didn't work when there's just so many other factors outside of the movie itself, which is what we're here to talk about, right? So let's talk about Furiosa a little bit more in depth here. Do you want to open the spoiler gate, or do we want to hold on that for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it at great length already, so may as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Of angels. The question is, do you have it in you to make it epic?
All right, so let's open the spoiler gate. For those who have not seen Furiosa yet, I highly recommend go to your nearest Cineplex movie theater of choice, AMC, if for those in the States, I guess, or whatever. The biggest, loudest, preferably the loudest. I think, again, the audio mix for both Fury Road and Furiosa are, I think, as important or maybe almost more important than anything else. So you want to go to a theater that has really good sound. Dolby Audio would be a great recommend. You're
giving people too many tasks. Just say you need to go see this movie. That's it.
In theaters.
You can even say, you know what? I'll buy your ticket. You can just e-transfer me later.
Yeah, right.
On your own time.
If you don't like it, if you
don't like it, then you don't have to e-transfer me.
Yeah, but there's no way that anyone's going to go in to see this movie and not like it.
So you should just be buying people tickets right now.
Yeah, that's right. You're talking about how you're like, well, now I have to go to work and convince all my colleagues to go see this movie now, or convince your boss to buy everyone a ticket. To go see it. I'm gonna, we're here on this podcast right now to evangelize this movie. Right?
If you need a break from life, if you're down and out, if you just need a breather, if you just want to just get away for a moment,
escape.
There's nothing better than Furiosa.
Right, and I think that's a great way of putting it, which is to say that Furiosa, and I know this was in the marketing. The term Odyssey was used in the marketing, so I don't want to sound like a shill, but which is I know there's a word that's thrown around a lot these days, but it really I think it totally nails that. The Lawrence of Arabia is an Odyssey, a long epic movie with big sweeping vista shots and bigger than life characters. I think that's true for things like Lord of the Rings we just talked about, right? And this is an example of that scale of movie making, and so we talk about Mad Max, Fury Road. Some of its limitations are its scale or its scope is a little narrow, intentionally so. Right? It's really just following this escape attempt by Furiosa to get Joe's wives out of the what's it called, Jeremy? The
no idea.
The name of the base.
Don't remember.
We just watched this stupid movie. Anyway, to get them out of there.
It's all visual. We don't remember dialogue or names.
Right. Yeah, right. The Citadel. The Citadel. That's what it's called. Right. So
Mass Effect.
Yeah. Well, yes, which also has a.
To me, that's the Citadel.
When you think of, do you even play the original Mass Effect or just Mass Effect 2?
2, but then I
Right.
went back and played a little bit of 1, but never finished it. I don't
Okay.
think.
But that's like where the Citadel's like the big deal in 1, I think. Yeah. So as I said, the scope is a little bit more narrow. It's much more action focused. There is very little, character work, and that's fine. Most of the character work is done through action, and that largely works. Whereas, when you're talking about, the Odyssey and the traditional like Greek, interpretation of it being like this epic journey of this character's life, right? And all the trials and tribulations that go along with it. That is what Furiosa is. It starts with her as a child, and it ends with her the moment that we meet or catch up to her in Fury Road. And of course, we jump through time a little bit, and it is broken up into 5 chapters, I think, 4 or 5 chapters.
Yeah, 5 at least, maybe 6.
And it's longer, but I think the takeaway for me is that it's just such a bigger movie than Fury Road is, because it covers a longer period of time. So ultimately, you get to feel the you talked about stakes before, but you get to feel like the impact of the decisions that are made, or the actions that happen, the events that take place early in the movie. You get to feel the long-term results of those over time in Furiosa, where you don't ever get that in Fury Road. It's like it's just immediate satisfaction.
Right.
And
we don't see Furiosa change actors till at least, and I feel like it's got to be over an hour.
I want to say it's almost halfway through the movie. Like
like that's what I mean. It's like this is actually quite incredible. Like,
it's bold.
Yeah, like choice. Yeah, it's like, wow, okay, like that's sweet. That makes sense.
Well, and
why and then when they do it, the actors are so similar looking, especially in terms of the eyes. You question it, but you're almost like, hey, that that works. It's not.
What if it was Anya Taylor-Joy de-aged the entire time?
Bravo, I guess.
By the way,
but also in terms of stakes, Fury Road, obviously just an incredible first 45-hour with the chase sequence. I was very curious like how they're going to kind of top that in this one, and they kind of started off with stakes right off the bat with a young child Furiosa being kidnapped essentially by a biker gang, and then her mother, which we don't know I guess at the time, but just starting to just go in that direction, just
like an Amazonian.
Yeah,
like
basically,
Wonder
she looked like Gal
Woman.
Gadot. Actually, I was like, I almost thought it was her at one point. But just an incredible like way to like kind of like bring us back into this world. It's a little bit slower paced, to begin with, but like the stakes are high. Like we're thinking like, oh, like we know that's Furiosa, we know she's not going to die, but as soon as they attach the mother to it, we almost have this, this inherent doom sense of like
she actually does. So, by the way, Jeremy, the actress who plays her mother is named Charlie Fraser, and she looks eerily similar to Gal Gadot. It's wild.
Telling you, I saw in the beginning. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, but with her character, we're like, at least for me, I'm like, oh, I was almost like just a very depressed, like, like in order for Furiosa to continue, like I know that her mother here is probably going to perish essentially.
Right.
And it's kind of like a long drawn out tease, and she goes even further, beyond than I think we would even expect. And through her chase, like we get reintroduced into this world of like the road, essentially, and like the survival mechanisms.
Titular Fury Road.
Right.
Yeah, right.
With gas canisters, tires, changing bikes, the fear that is put into the biker gang, who they have the upper hand, you know what I mean, with multiple more of them,
well, yeah,
more equipment, more everything, and they're just being picked off one by one. That's just so intriguing, and we know that Furiosa is attached to that, and she kind of later on will exude some of those traits, you know what I mean, like,
well, it's interesting to watch like essentially when we meet the characters that we know from Fury Road, right? The Morton Joe and the War Boys and all them, right? they're positioned as like the enemy to the characters that had been following up to that point, right? The biker gang, led by Chris Hemsworth, Dr. Dementis. Great name, great performance.
Yeah, Motorcycle Chariot 3, like it's just it's the perfect like over the topness, with this whole concept, but just really works.
Man, the motorcycle chariot, which he like abandons about halfway through, essentially. But
it doesn't even work. You just hold ropes and
I don't. It doesn't make sense. I agree. Well, at one point there was another person riding the chariot, and I thought that person was really the one driving. But there's also moments where that's not true. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, that's really not what's important. The mechanics of the 3 motorcycles taped together is not important. But I just think that Chris Hemsworth, Dementis character, is such a like crucial component to the whole saga, right? So, and when I say the saga, I'm not just talking about the titular Mad Max saga that is Furiosa, but both Fury Road and Furiosa, because the presence of Dementis is so large in Furiosa, and largely only dealt with pretty close to, like, obviously at the end of this movie, right? But from a timeline perspective, he's not that separated from the events of Fury Road, right? And
because here he's in between like the 2 characters that we already know.
Well, I just feel like his absence in retrospect, if you go back and watch Fury Road, having seen Furiosa, his absence is felt because the things that Dementis sets in motion are the catalyst for everything that happens in Fury Road, right? Because Furiosa as a character is largely a passenger. She's not driving these large events. She does later in the story when she kind of takes on a bit of a position of power. But until then, she's just a passenger, right? She's getting dragged along either by the biker gang, then by Dementis in a cage, and then is traded to Immortan Joe. She hides, becomes a part of this kind of like working crew, but like ultimately the larger machinations of the world are happening around her, and she's just being affected by it, right? It's not until later in Furiosa and then into Fury Road where she's able to affect the world. But all those things started because Dementis comes in and basically fucks everything up. They had like this like good balanced plan, and then Dementis comes in and everything falls apart. So I don't know. I think it's really cool how those things fit together in this kind of like really, neat and tidy way, while you also get to have Chris Hemsworth just hamming it up as like a very like physically, obviously he's Thor, so he's big dude, but also funny. Like it's a really interesting role for him to play. It physically daunting, but a leader that seems to be missing like one crucial element of like one piece of the pie to really like galvanize his gangs around him. And you kind of see how that all plays together. But this like flawed leader, and they're all flawed leaders, obviously, but like you just spend so much time with Dementis and like his own form of insanity is, I think, really fun. And then obviously at the very end, he gets this whole big monologue about how his family was stolen from him and how that changed. He's, all these characters experience loss, right? Furiosa lost her parents, her mom specifically. Dementis loses his kids, his wife and family. Mad Max, same thing, wife and kids, right? And that they're all the same. So, and that's what kind of what he's saying. Like, we're all the same, but it's how they act on this loss that's so different and interesting. I don't know. I just think that Chris Hemsworth is, if he doesn't get, I'd love to see like a Best Supporting Actor nom for him for this. It's great work. Sorry, I was almost choking to death there. Thoughts on Dementis yourself?
Yeah, I would agree. I think like going into it, like I think it'd be so easy just like critique this performance as being wacky and just like just having fun, but it didn't do much. But like I don't know, there's just so many elements, and his ability to kind of lure you in with charisma, and then the wackiness, and then the fun. It's just kind of all over the place, but it all just really works, and you don't get tired of him like ever, even though he's like doing so much. So I would definitely say props to Hemsworth on
Mm-hmm.
playing a very fun villain, and just kind of, even though he's been kind of fun and unhinged or whatever before in some of the Thor movies, uh, here just being like a really bad guy that's kind of all over the place. And like he says, like we're already dead. Like it's just such great writing uh, that just kind of pertains to his character and his mentality, and like
Right.
yeah, his ultimate demise, I guess too.
Really cool final moments in this movie, right? I mean,
Yeah,
not to
very
skip to the end
memorable.
entirely, but like the way that she deals with him, and then the way it's kind of left up to interpretation. It's like, oh, it's all just legend of
Mm.
the wasteland. So, maybe he is growing a tree out of his stomach, which is very, again, very Greek mythology type of like imagery, right? And it kind of plays into that whole Odyssey concept that I think totally works, right? It's just so big. The scope is so big. And then it really focuses in on these little moments, like when he gets killed. But the idea of like playing this whole thing as like a this legend, right, is interesting because that's been the framing that they've done for Mad Max for a long time. That Mad Max isn't maybe one person, but maybe several people. It's this like nameless hero from the wasteland. It's hard to say, but like I think that ambiguity is on purpose, which doesn't bother me really, because the individual story itself that we're getting here is so interesting and gripping, and compelling that I don't need the continuity bits, and we live in this world now, Jeremy, where like the continuity bits are like what people live for, with like Marvel
Yeah.
movies, and you could even say like the Fast and Furious movies fell prey to that. There's like the list goes on, right? You could the Alien movies, for God's sakes. So it's like this there's a difference to me between like continuity and lore, right? I think what Mad Max is doing, or George Miller specifically is doing, is like this really cool world lore building, right? These concepts of the wasteland, and like this idea of a green place, and then the water becomes poison, and getting to see that green place is interesting, by the way, at the beginning of this movie, um, and then this kind of constant struggle. And I don't think it's ever about realism either, right? It's not about like this is what the world would be like in this scenario, but it feels real to the world we're in, which I think is important, right? I don't know. I just think it's impressive. The whole thing is impressive. Anything you want to zero in on? I just want to mention that the guy who plays Praetorian Jack, the guy who kind of is the stand-in for Mad Max in this movie, pretty much, right? Similar jacket, similar kind of vibe about him. Tom Burke is really great. Don't know him from anything. If you look at his IMDb, he's been in The Lazarus Project, which is a TV show, CB Strike, which is a TV show, bunch of things. He actually, you know what? The Crown. He was in an episode of The Crown, and he was in Mank. So there you go. I just like I don't know. He plays Orson Welles in Mank, but I just like he doesn't stand out as an actor that like jumps off the page to me. But in this movie, he does such a great job.
Yeah, I mean,
in a lot of stuff.
he's such an integral, part of Furiosa's like, leveling up and like introduction to the world, and like kind of where we pick up where with her in Fury Road.
Mhm.
So, and then to see that kind of fleshed out in such a meaningful way, a little bit of a back and forth, her trying to escape, but then helping him out when the rig was, being attacked and falling apart, during a crazy action sequence where we saw like a different version of enemies with different combat abilities and skills, which was very
Yeah,
fun.
the aerial combat.
One.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, what's cool about this movie is that
The high ground.
We hear that's right. Don't do it, Anakin. That they talk about the Fury Road in Fury Road, right? I want to die eternal on Fury Road or whatever he says, live eternal. But we don't really actually spend a lot of time on the titular Fury Road because she drives off of it, 5 minutes into that movie. And in this one, we actually get to see the Fury Road being used regularly. So we actually get to see kind of like, okay, so they built this war rig so that they can transport water and goods between these different fortresses, right? And we get to see that in action, which I think is interesting, kind of like the mechanics of the world, right? That action sequence specifically you mentioned with the kind of the offshoot biker gang, which in and of itself is cool because we see those same characters basically in Fury Road, but we don't have context for who they are. But now we do. Turns out they were part of Dementus's gang that split off because his like right hand man. What do you remember what that guy's name is? Is it like the People Eater or something?
I do not.
The guy with like the cool horns. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. They like that crazy close up of him at one point.
I just think he's like one of the coolest designed characters in the whole movie, in my opinion. Like, right, he's got this like badass motorcycle, but like these paper mache black horns and this like
Well, he calls out Dementus
face.
for being like, I forget what he says, but for just kind of sacrificing all of his people around him.
Exactly, which is why he splits off. But he also has that like squid kite. Is it a kite? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
It's cool. So weird looking, but it's like it's really interesting to see that happen. And then obviously when he dies, and then it like gets twisted up in the back of the rig, it's pretty cool. But I was just thinking that like one of the coolest things that we didn't really get to see as much is kind of like the well-oiled machine that is the team that runs the War Road, the Fury Road. To see like the Furiosa as kind of like, I can't remember what they call it, the mechanic dog or something, like underneath the truck essentially, and like running along wires and like fixing stuff, attaching fixing hoses and like putting things back together, knocking off of a bomb and stuff like that. Seeing a massive semi truck with two engines, almost like it's a train or it's a ship on the sea with like a crew that has like preset roles and responsibilities. Jeremy, I've said this a million times on the show. One of my favorite things in movies ever is someone saying something and then someone repeating that thing but louder so that other people can hear it, which is a classic like pirate thing. Like raise the mainsail, like that kind of thing gets me every time. There's a little bit of that in the middle of this movie. I just think it's such a cool reinterpretation of the same idea that we already saw in Fury Road. So it's like, I don't think you could say, oh, well, I've seen this already, because they take those same concepts that were already awesome in Fury Road, and then they kind of like expand on them, show you different perspectives, how when the whole squad of war boys and the Imperators are working together, that there are the Praetorians or whatever they're called, they are able to, wage war traveling at 100 miles an hour or whatever it is. It's really epic, for lack of a better term. And you're right, Jeremy, the aerial combat elements are really interesting, like being able to like have people with like big fans on their back. I don't know if that works, like how necessarily, or like why
but they make it look like it works, and you can laugh at it in the maybe initially or whatever, but it's just another cool corner of the universe built out with another faction and like backstory you can imagine, and I don't know, it's neat. Like in Fury Road, they had those spike guys. All their vehicles were super spiky.
Yes, the spiky people. I can't remember what they called them. But like, turns out that might have been part of like the offshoot gang that was also part of the Dementus original gang. And so it's cool to see that, by the way, like the original like leader of Gastown was this like painter, right? Like we get that shot of him, like we start with the shot of the like original painting, Renaissance painting in his hand, and then it zooms out, and then the entire wall is that Renaissance painting. There's like weird shots like that feel really trippy. That's why I think the term Odyssey again continues to make sense. It has this kind of like mythical type of feel to it, where you get these like larger than life things that don't really make sense. Like this guy spent his entire life recreating this Michelangelo or whatever on this wall. Why is that important? Why did we spend a solid like minute staring at this painting when it plays no role in the story? I don't know, but it doesn't bother me at all. You know what I mean? Like it just adds so much little extra little bits of juice to the world. But I also like seeing some of like the other characters that we saw from Fury Road and like how they ended up in the places that they get to, right? Like
and it was and some of them were from like the deal they struck, right?
Yeah, right. Like the doctor,
like the doctor guy,
yeah. Which, by the way, I think he's called the organic mechanic, which is a great name. Also like the history man concept, right? Like this idea of someone who has like tattooed their entire body with like little bits of knowledge so that they can. It's again very. We've talked about this a little bit when we were after the movie, but there's a lot of similarities between this and Dune. Beyond the fact that it's just happening in a desert, though that is a big part of it. The tattooing of knowledge and that kind of stuff happens in Dune. But the idea that you don't have computers anymore, so you rely on people to be your like human computer, I think is really fascinating and like an interesting concept that they, I think, deliver on pretty well. They don't really get a lot of time. It's confusing at first.
Well, they're almost there for like joke purposes too. Like it cues us in on like what they should be thinking. Like why wouldn't because like it's knowledge that we might be aware of too sometimes.
Yeah, because like there's the moment that sticks out. Another comparison, by the way, with Dune is when Dementis asks the history man about tears, human tears, right?
Oh yeah.
And then he like licks them, and he's like, it's got more of like he's like tangy or zesty or whatever when it's from sorrow. But
yeah, that was like the end of like one of the chapters, I think.
Yeah, the first one, I think. But in Dune, remember we had that moment where like, don't waste your water or whatever, and it's like she's crying, and he like takes it and like licks it or whatever. Very similar, just very different, unhinged levels of insanity in this movie. I just think that those little moments do a lot, and not to like shit on Fury Road, I just don't think we get that many of those moments in that movie. It's just so much more action packed or action focused, I should say. Whereas we get these like small little moments of like, oh, we really get to see how insane Chris Hemsworth is as Dr. Dementis. We know Morton Joe is a bad guy because he keeps women as slave wives, right? But we don't really get to spend much time with a Morton Joe in either of these movies, right? We know that he's kind of he's a bit smarter than the rest of the people that are involved in this like cabal situation. But largely we don't really get to see him do anything particularly villainous, except for the things that are implied, right? The wives and the don't get addicted to water line, which is from Fury Road, of course, right? I think that's such a difference for me. It's like everything about Furiosa is just turned up to 11 from what we already had in Fury Road, right? And specifically when it comes to character work, I think it's just so much more interesting. There's just so much more interesting characters in this movie. And not to say that Mad Max, although I already said he's not that interesting, not to say he wouldn't have fit in here and we could have explored him, but the characters that we do get are just so much more interesting, and we get to spend more time, and they're more interesting because of that. And not to say that Mad Max isn't, because he has all these other movies, but just based on what we've gotten out of these two movies. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Jeremy, that you want to jump on here?
I don't know. I mean, I just really, really enjoyed it.
Are you going to see it again?
Maybe.
If movie tickets
I'm going to see if some guys at work want to go, because, like I said, it's just like these things come every once in a while. That is a major treat
I agree.
It is a palate cleanse while you are swathed away to another universe, essentially. And sometimes it can give you new thought processes, new personalities. um, you know what I
Right, when a
mean?
movie
Maybe,
becomes a part of your personality, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for like yeah, I take motivation from like dope ass movies, like, and also from the creators behind it. Like it just gets me hyped up that like these people are grinding away, are at the top of their game, and they craft these unique experiences that come every once in a while. And we're in a filmmaking climate where these things are now being challenged and may not get the monetary backing, so then they may not even exist. But the stories and the elements and the IP will exist in some form or fashion, but that may be something different than this typical classic film going experience, with a GOAT director in George Miller, and then just a on the top of their game cast members, just having a great time and doing their thing. So this isn't, oh, it's a bomb, it's a stinker, it's like, okay, whatever. That's this climate
Yeah,
around
that's
movies that we
Transformers. Yeah,
can't really
yeah.
put our finger on.
Age of Extinction. That's the
Oh
one.
man,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like it does, yeah, it like it
War of
this
Beasts.
is
What is it called?
leaps and bounds. This is just so far beyond all that crap.
Yeah, no, I think, again, we don't need to beat this to death, but like, don't listen to the box office. Go watch this movie. Like
It's a
there
must
are
watch.
great movies out there that are like designed to be seen in theaters. I think Oppenheimer was one of them, right? That was epic to see in the theater, and we talked about why that is. This is another one of them for different reasons. If I had a true IMAX screen, I would go see it. I'm not going to make the trip out for this one because it wasn't filmed in IMAX specifically. But I will probably go see it in our version, our Limax screen still. And I don't know. I just like, I worry, Jeremy, do you worry that this is like a Blade Runner 2049 situation?
Yeah, that's what we're kind of alluding to in the beginning there.
Yeah.
It's it's like I said, a travesty if this doesn't keep movies
We
go. Like
want
if
more
this
of
isn't
these.
part of movies, what
Yeah.
are we doing here?
Well,
This is movies.
I guess what I don't understand, I guess what I don't understand is if people don't like this movie, right? What do they want? Like what are movies if not this, right? And like obviously there's all sorts of movies and fair enough. But
Yeah,
when you talk
it's
about
all
like
subjective. It's
the
it can be lightning in a bottle.
sure,
It's all these types of things.
but we're talking about like the scale, the epic nature of
Yeah.
movie making.
This was already
on
proven.
the big
This was
screen.
already proven back in 2015.
Yeah. But then people did go see that
It's
movie.
here again in a new, better, badder way. Dude, we're 10 years removed from the last one. And like I said, the last one still holds up, but this one it just roars past it a little bit, or a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot.
Um,
I again, trying to set aside recency bias. It's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because we
But
only live in the moment.
it just
that we
makes
live
me
in.
want the original cast back for a quote unquote proper sequel.
I think we might get
as
that
well.
still, like because we end
Yeah,
Fury
we're
Road
teasing
on a
that
note,
one, and then you go watch that one,
and
and
then
then
also
we
ends
give
on
you
a
a new one
teaser.
where
Yeah.
we meet up with these two characters down the road, maybe, and they kind of they're interlinked again.
Yeah, like it would be interesting to see, we spent so many of these movies where it's like a road movie and we're moving around all the time, right? And that's the nature of the beast as it were with a Mad Max movie. But it'd be interesting to see. It's like, okay, well, we're going to now, the good guys are now in charge of the Citadel, right? And Max finds his way back there at some point and it's like this thriving society or whatever, right? How now they have to defend it from maybe some roaming warlords, similar to what we get with Chris Hemsworth character here, right? With a Dementus coming to try to take it all. But now we get to spend we get to look at it just purely from the good guy's perspective to defend it. I mean, not to write the movies. I'm sure George Miller has better ideas than that. But there's a lot of story to potentially mine with these actors who are still of age to play them, right? And even if we go another 10 years, you could have an older Mad Max and older Furiosa, meeting up again, as you said, to give us that kind of closure, as it were. Because it would be really cool to have a trilogy of these movies, right? You could have the original trilogy of Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Thunderdome, and then you have the sequel trilogy, right? If I can use this Star Wars language, of Furiosa, Fury Road, and Wasteland, or whatever they want to call it. It would be good if it was another F word. Another one that started with F. I'm trying to think of what that would be. Flames or fire, or I don't know. Again, George Miller has better ideas than me. But you're right in the sense that, Jeremy, that there is still room for more of this. I just don't think we can say it loud enough. Like, this is awesome. This is a really fucking cool movie. Go see it. Because if people don't go see it, we won't get more of this. So just like we're probably never going to get another Blade Runner movie, at least maybe not for another 50 years, because that movie bombed, despite it being an absolute, masterpiece. This is another one of those situations where if people don't go out and see this movie, it's we're not going to get the third one. I want to get the third one. And you know what? George Miller will go back to making movies like Happy Feet, and then we'll all be lesser off for it. I'm not to say that those movies are bad. I don't know, but they're not this. I know I love this. You know what I mean? Maybe some sort of crossover between Penguins and Apocalypse.
Well, there's a YouTube video where he's going over like his best scenes, and he goes over the Happy Feet. He's like, I want to talk about Happy Feet. And it's super funny because it's almost like they didn't plan that one. But then he talks about how they got like the best tap dancer in the world and used motion capture technology, and he was referencing Peter Jackson with Gollum, and when he saw that, and so he used that technology to really incorporate the tap dancing ability into the Penguin. Because I do remember, I have seen that movie, but I do remember the tap dancing kind of elements, and then being very like funny and cool. And then he also mentions a scene from Godfather, which I think he says is his top 3 movies of all time, where Michael's like walking in the Italian, like wherever he is, where he meets that girl in Italy. And then he walks by the camera, and you just see them walk.
One. Isn't that the second one?
I thought that was the second one too, but I think it's got to be the second one.
Yeah.
And then, like I guess 3 or 4 or 5 women like walk by like 10 yards back after, I guess just friends of the woman or whatever. And then another 10 yards pass, and then 2 guards with shotguns like kind of walk by. And he mentions how like that right there is just like perfect storytelling within like a few frames, cueing you in on the mafia kind of lifestyle and everything around that, right? And what that means, that securement in those layers of people going by the camera. But yeah, I'd encourage you to watch him talk about like his. Is that movies.
One of the Variety or Vanity?
Yeah, it's probably one of those things. Because whenever they do their film tours around the world, they usually stop at studios and they do these like fun little like.
Yeah, we just got one of those recently with Oppenheimer and Nolan, and he did some of that.
Oh yeah. They paired them up, and
yeah, it's good.
Or like the Google search one.
It's better than what we used to get, I will say, with like Entertainment Tonight and that kind of stuff. This is much better. Like I wouldn't call it journalism necessarily, but like I guess like hype train promotional material.
It's just a press tour, and they're doing unique things.
Yeah, around it. It's like they've kind of found a formula, and it's like it's interesting.
Yeah, the formula is remove the interviewer and let the star
director
be
or whatever,
the star.
Yeah. But more importantly, I think when you talk about like the filmmakers, and they do this with the actors when they go over like specific roles and maybe lines and stuff like that. But when you talk about directors specifically, they're like, you get a chance to have them reflect on their career, and that's such an interesting thing. And then to focus it in on specific moments of their career, right? Specific, installments, movies, right? If you look at George Miller's filmography, He's made he's directed 18 things, which includes 3 shorts that came before Mad Max, which of course was an indie movie that he helped finance himself. But so you have Mad Max 2, and then you get stuff in there like Twilight Zone the movie. He did a segment of that. You have the Tina Turner music video, which is obviously an offshoot of Thunderdome. We Don't Need Another Hero. Lorenzo's Oil, Babe Pig in the City, Happy Feet 2. Then between Mad Max and Furiosa, you get 3,000 Years of Longing, which I did see, and it's not that great, unfortunately. So it's like when he's hitting, it's like it's really hitting, I think. Maybe I guess if you had to like critique the career, it's that when it's not hitting, they're just kind of like pretty forgettable. But not everyone's Christopher Nolan, I guess. You know what I mean? Have you seen 3,000 Years of Longing, by the way?
No.
So, I wanted to see it because it's got a bunch of stuff that I would like in it. It's got Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. It's obviously directed by George Miller. It's about a genie. Idris Elba plays a genie. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's really, really quite abstract. You can kind of see elements of that in Furiosa. As I mentioned, some of that kind of more trippy stuff that you see in Furiosa comes through. I think you see a little bit of that in 3,000 Years of Longing, but in general, we have very little things to say about George Miller that aren't just amazing. I also, whoever the cinematographer was on this movie is great. That's true with Fury Road as well. Let me see if I can find cinematographer by Simon Dugan. So props to them also. To see if there's any things that we know. Great Gatsby, Hacksaw Ridge, iRobot. What else here? Warcraft. So, Disenchanted. Keith Urban featuring Pink. One Too Many. the music video. Anyway, I think we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. I will just say these last things then. On Fury Road specifically, I don't think I mentioned this, and not to say that it's new, but the biggest quibble with that is the pacing. It moves a little bit too fast for my liking. A little bit
too fast.
A little bit too. It's a little bit too fast. Maybe too
furious.
Yeah, that's right. And then again for Furiosa, we need to repeat it one more time. Go see this movie this weekend. Buy tickets for your friends, your family. Right? They're gonna like it. It is a rated R movie, and it earns the rated R, I think. Not that it's like overly gory or overly violent or overly, well, it is pretty violent, but overly like bloody necessarily. But or that like there's like so many swears. There's swearing, but it's not that crazy. It's a soft R, in my opinion. I've seen harder R's, but apparently the studio was originally promised for Fury Road a PG-13, which is part of the reason that George Miller sued them, because they're like, oh, we didn't pay you because you told us you were going to make a PG-13 movie, and then you gave us a rated R movie. I don't know what the PG-13 cut of these movies would be, but it wouldn't be as good. I'll just put it that way. Doesn't necessarily spell out good signs for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is also a rated R movie. Should we be concerned at this point? Is it too soon? Too soon to know, I would say. Alrighty, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you to everyone who helped support the show. If you're listening to this early, it's because you do, and it really does mean a lot. And thank you, as always. We really can't say that enough. If you are listening to this as part of the main show and you want to get access to more of our film clubs, it's easy to do that. $5 a month. That's all it costs. And you get access to our backlog of film club content, as well as each new monthly installment. Help support podcasts that you love. So again, thank you to those who have done so. If you can't financially, there's lots of other ways you can help. Leave a review, comment, tune in live, lots of stuff like that. Love to see you in the chat room over on YouTube and Twitch. Follow us on Twitter at Tower Babblecast, Facebook.com/Tower Babblecast, and head over to our website, towerofbabel.ca, to find everything that we do. And until then, actually, Jeremy, should we pick another movie for next month? That's important. I forgot this is not a normal film club, so we got to pick one. I'm going to put you on the spot because I picked last month. Name any movie off the top of your head, and we'll do that next month.
I think I had it as a choice a while ago. With the other one, which was Payback. I think.
Payback.
Did we do that one? Mel Gibson?
1999 Mel Gibson movie? No, I don't think we've ever done this movie.
I thought we did.
Get ready to root for the bad guy.
Or maybe not.
I know we watched the 90s movie.
Anyways, I'm picking Conspiracy Theory.
Oh, okay. Conspiracy Theory. And that's conspiracy.
It has Patrick Stewart in it and Mel Gibson.
And are you feeling like Mel Gibson right now because of the Mad Max stuff? Is that
No,
just a coincidence?
It's a coincidence. But then we were talking about Patrick Stewart a lot too because he was Professor X in the X-Men movies.
Right, of course we were. Yeah.
And Julia Roberts, I think, is also in the movie. So
we have Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts, Patrick Stewart, and Michael Potts, Terry Alexander. Directed by Richard Donner, Superman director himself.
So there you go. Another surprise director that I had no idea directed.
It's funny how all these like touchstone movies for you, Jeremy, from your youth,
are just the great directors.
Are just
of all
all
time.
directed by the greatest directors ever. Yeah, what a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
A taxi driver with a penchant for conspiracy theories becomes a target after one of these theories turns out to be true. Unfortunately, to save himself, he has to figure out which theory it is. That's a fun idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. Like, does Patrick Stewart have a large role in this movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's not super. It's mostly Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts, I think. But yeah, he's there.
Okay. Conspiracy Theory, another rated R movie. 2 hours and 15 minutes from 1997. We just can't escape the 90s.
90s X-Men 97.
Well, yeah, a perfect year for that. We should probably do an X-Men movie soon. I think it'd be good to revisit one. I know you just did that, but maybe something.
Yeah, I know them them all very intimately. So,
well, let's
So I don't need to watch them. We just talk about them.
When does Deadpool and Wolverine? It's like the end of the summer, right? Maybe we'll pick up.
It's not end of summer. It's like middle.
Yeah,
end of July,
right.
I think.
So, Conspiracy Theory from 1997, directed by Richard Donner, starring Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts, and Patrick Stewart. That's next month. So look forward to that. If you're not already, of course, subscribe to Patreon to get that. It's easy to do that. Head over to patreon.com/TowerBabblecast and sign up. And we will be back next month with that film. But until then, it's going to be June any day now, because it's the 25th already. So literally any day now, which means the beginning of June marks the beginning of the next Star Wars show. So Star Wars Acolyte starts in June, on June 4th.
Get ready for lightsaber whips.
Get ready for lightsaber whips. Get ready for Force Fu, as they're calling it. The new like martial arts style that they've kind of developed for this. Get ready for Space Trinity. Lots of things to be excited about, I think, if you're a Star Wars fan, as it relates to Acolyte. Are you not excited? Do you think that the idea of a lightsaber whip is dumb? Is that what you're getting at, Jeremy?
Yes.
Okay.
What are we doing here? Lightsabers, Force, that's it.
Those are the only. I mean, why? Why not?
Stories, characters in between.
Jetpacks.
You don't need new technology coming out of nowhere.
Especially stuff that's from a prequel that we never see ever again. Does that bother you? Like the technology was better before and now we don't have it anymore? Doesn't really happen.
It's just a Jedi. You just don't need a whip saber. It was the double-sided saber made sense.
What about the crossguard saber?
Crossguard saber did not make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay, got it.
They can have an explanation. Someone could tell it to me. It's not going to change my mind.
Would you say that... That's so funny. Jeremy, you sound just like the people who are angry on Twitter all the time about Star Wars.
Well, I'm not angry, though. I'm just like...
You're disappointed.
It's just like, okay, have fun with your crossguard lightsabers and your lightsaber whips.
Yeah. Well,
And then what was the other one? There was like that circular thing, right? Too.
Oh, you're thinking of the one that spins the
Yeah.
Inquisitor
That one
saber?
was
Yeah.
okay, but also like you just got to cut the middle of that thing, and then it's toast.
Yeah, well, that's what they do ultimately, typically to beat them.
But with the double-sided lightsaber, it gets cut, but it's not toast. It turns into two lightsabers.
Then you have two lightsabers.
But you can also separate them and have two if you wanted as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. In the video game, you can do that. You can combine your lightsaber into like a double-sided, or have two lightsabers, or just one.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the lightsaber toys they had at one point? It was like these weird looking configurable like attachment where you could like put on more lightsaber ends to like this weird looking thing.
No, but I will say this. I want to spend several $100s on a lightsaber hilt that's like designed to look like a real lightsaber hilt,
Right.
And then ideally one that you can insert the blade and then do like actual wielding with it. There's lots of the lightsaber technology has gone a long way.
Yeah.
Disney you hear about that one that Disney invented, right? Where it like, I think it's specifically for on-set use or for use by the actors on at Disney World. But that actually like
looks real.
Lights up and like comes out of the blade somehow. It doesn't make. I don't know how that works, but
what's your favorite lightsaber?
I like Obi-Wan's a lot.
Which one?
I like Dooku's a lot. I love the like curved nature of the Dooku. Very, very elegant.
But which Obi-Wan do you like? Because he has at least two, I think.
His early one.
I would agree with that one.
You would or would not?
I would. I think that might be the best lightsaber of all time.
It's very
But
cool.
I also like Qui-Gon's, which is a simpler version of Obi-Wan's. But I don't think that would go down as the best lightsaber of all time, though.
No.
Because it's too simple. And then Luke's might, because just from Return.
The green one, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a nice shape.
I don't like the weird protruding like box off the side of that one as much.
Oh, but that's like the button though.
Yeah, I know, but it's too big.
They'll have weird. Some of them have weird protruding things. Other than Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, Yoda has some protruding things.
And then Anakin's is like pretty standard. That's like the basic. It's a pretty basic standard lightsaber. Ahsoka's lightsaber, she's got two. They're cool, but they're too much like the hilt of a katana, in my opinion. Like I know that's the influence, but like it's too much like that, where it feels like this is just a katana lightsaber, which is fine. I don't hate it. I just think it's not my favorite because of that. But I do again like the curved hilt to be able to like have. I do not like the curved hilt. Okay, here's a deep cut Star Wars lightsaber. Did someone just light up a lightsaber just now?
Did you hear that? Oh wait, wait.
Nice. Oh, it's so cool.
So for me, I have the Hasbro FX lightsabers that I think were like, I don't want to say like $60, maybe $80, but they're slimmer. They look kind of realish, but the best part of them is that they're kind of like you're able to kind of just like use them in like swordplay, like actually hit things. And I just recently acquired Luke Skywalker's from Return, probably I want to say like maybe 5 months ago.
Do you have these displayed anywhere?
No. These are for playing.
Right, of course.
But I could display them. I could just make like a little like kind of holder on the wall and just have them all kind of. I think I'd have them all like facing upwards rather than like sideways.
That's cool.
I don't know. We'll see.
I was gonna say a deep cut lightsaber pick for me is Gunji's lightsaber, which is made out of wood because he's a Wookiee, and that's cool to me.
That's not that cool. But...
A wood. The exterior is made out of wood. The internals are still the same, but like it's got like a wood finish. But he's a Wookiee. Is a Wookiee Jedi. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As long as we can agree on that, because there's going to be a Wookiee Jedi and Acolyte. So get ready for that too. By the way. Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to watch Acolyte?
Probably not.
Come on, you got to watch at least the 2-episode premiere. At least watch those, and let me know what you think.
Oh yeah, I'll watch those.
Okay.
It's just like the more they keep releasing, it's like, what are you doing? They're just shooting themselves in the foot.
You think they need to slow down?
They're catering to all of the I don't lie myself with like the woke like gangsters or whatever, the anti-woke gangsters or whatever you want to call them. But like they're giving them all these little tidbits to run away with. It seems like
you think they're playing into their hand a little bit. Yeah, but those
you know
people
what I mean?
also
like
Andor.
like with X-Men 97 and like Morph and all that stuff. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like it was like well done. It wasn't like the sole purpose of it.
No. Yeah, but
not saying that's
happening
in the Acolyte, but like that just seems like certain things like that are kind of dominating.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think when people, try to find things like that, they will find them.
Yeah.
I think that
it's easy.
Yeah, I think
Acolyte is making it very easy. Is all I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
No. I could be wrong. I don't know.
We're set in a time where there's lots of Jedi, which I think is inherently interesting, right? Like everyone liked going to the prequels because there was Jedi everywhere. I thought that was cool, right? I mean,
isn't this what you want?
I said what I mean. Like it's like, I don't get it.
No, it really is the laser. Yeah. It's the lightsaber whip. It's like I cannot believe you're taking away from the iconography of the sword, saber, Jedi wielding, force using.
You could argue that the lightsaber just does not have the same cachet that it did in like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, right? There's just so many more lightsabers now. They're just not as cool as they used to be. Maybe that's why they feel like they. To be honest, though,
the prequels will always have.
For me, it will. For me, it will. Yeah.
Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda.
Yeah,
it was just duels after duels after duels, but not to that point where it's like nonstop. There was a lot of duels. I mean, in Revenge, obviously, because you have to have the.
There was all of the movies had a bunch of lightsaber duels, and that's cool. There's no doubt. I think there was some really good lightsaber duels in Ahsoka, by the way, also. But you don't need a lightsaber duel to make a Star Wars thing good. But you also, I feel like you need to maybe find those things that can make lightsaber duels more exciting again. So, returning to the prequel era or pre-prequel era is going to be one way to do that. And I for one am interested in what they're going to do. Rachel and I are going to be covering it week to week, as we have with all the Star Wars shows, hence the name, Small Screen Star Wars. And I'm excited about it. I think this has the opportunity to be at or near the level of Andor was in quality by bringing in outside people that are not Star Wars people to help make this. I think is going to go a long way to make it feel fresh and new and exciting. So just give it a shot. Everyone who didn't watch the third episode of Andor is missing out and then proceeded to not watch the rest. Same thing. I think you're going to have to give this show a couple episodes to get going. But like Jedi's being murdered, murder mysteries with Jedi and Sith, bunch of Jedi everywhere, more of this like hand-to-hand combat situation. I don't know. Sounds cool to me. But what do I know? What do I know? All right. This time for real. We'll wrap it up. I've done all the plugs already. At Tower Babblecast everywhere. We'll talk to you guys very soon. I think hopefully we'll try to get in a regular episode before the Acolyte stuff starts. But if not, that will for sure be up, I think, around Wednesday or Thursday. Not next week, but the week after. Next week I'm traveling in Texas, but next weekend I'll be back. So we'll play it by ear. Pay attention to all the social feeds to keep up with when we go live or when we post new shows, and to keep up with all of our schedules, etc. Okay, more ToB on the way. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
as the world falls around us. How must we brave its cruelties?
I love it. All right. Jeremy, you good to go?
Yeah.
All right.
You said you love that when it happens?
Yeah, no,
That's what you said.
I love that. All right. That's good because that wasn't a very good intro anyway. Hey, hello everyone. Oh, man.
Just take a couple breaths.
You're right. Let's slow down here for a second. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special ToB Film Club. As always, I am Julian Meush. I'm joined by Jeremy Kozier.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about Mad Max, A Fury Road. It's not A Fury Road, it's just Fury Road. God, man.
Mad Max, A Fury Road.
It's A Fury Road or a Mad Max Saga, right? That's the Fury. We'll do take number 3, take number 3, and go.
We got to save that one. That was a good one.
This is all happening. I haven't.
You said Mad Max, and you wanted to go Furiosa, but also Mad Max story or saga.
Yes, thank you.
All in one.
You don't have to remind me. It just happened. It's happening in my brain right now. All right.